Greetings, comrades, and welcome to the Eastern Border. And after 2 episodes of Navalny's death and war and all the horrible stuff, I wanted to do some bit of breather stuff. And we had them. We've spoken about architecture. Then we had guys who made Atom RPG. Highly recommended if you liked old Fallout games. It's like, so Fallout had those on. And as many of you know, I'm a huge Magic fan. At least I build my decks and I do stuff. And well, what I have here is my favorite Magic YouTuber. And it's not the professor. It is someone much better. Hello, Desolator Magic.
Oh, hello.
And welcome to the Eastern Border.
Oh, man, it's an honor. I also hate the professor, but that's a different topic.
I think he's a bit naive and like too much sponsorship everywhere. But why would you hate him?
He's one of those lefties who thinks he's smart. And he pretends he's smart. He's one of those pseudo-intellectual, like, I watch PBS kind of people, you know? Oh, man. Really, really bad.
I also watch PBS, but I do that because it's just before sleep. Like PBS Space Time is fun.
I should have said NPR. I mean, geez, I'm showing my age here.
Popular science is fun. It doesn't make you smart. It just makes you educated. Difference.
Well, me and him really don't get along after I made fun of, well, one is politics, which make no sense.
Oh,
he just toes the line. He'll say anything that gets popularity or money. He doesn't care. But he used to be an English professor, or still is, or something. And his grammar and spelling is terrible. Terrible by my standards, because I used to be an editor. And so when I told him that, like, I made that public in response to a statement, I'm like, yeah, he didn't ever talk to me again. So...
Oh, wow.
Oh, well.
My English is probably worse than his and yours, so sorry.
I don't know. Have you seen him tweet?
I have been banned from Twitter twice now.
Me too.
For me, it was Russian trolls at a guy named Michael Tracy, whom I would call the closest thing to human slime ever. But anyway, I wanted you to hear because you have posted a lot of things on YouTube about Hasbro and the current state of Magic. And let me tell you, I started playing in the old Invasion block in the 7th edition before they even got the modern borders.
Oh, wow.
Modern at that point used to be, I'm 34 now, by the way. Modern used to be some new format, which is like the cheap one. We played Extended and Type 1 and all that nonsense. But then I took a break after Kamigawa, original one. And then I think I played Ravnica for a bit. And then I kind of came back for the cons. And now I'm sort of back because local game store and helps me do all this nonsense.
Yeah. You got to play what the people play, you know? That makes sense.
I just wondered, like, what's going on? This is like Yu-Gi-Oh! These days. Everything has insane amounts of text.
Oh, so bad.
Everything has text everywhere. More keywords than... like I've seen in my life. Oh yeah, vanillas are gone.
Oh jeez, yeah, exactly.
And everything's changed to the point where I have to read so much of them. Just and the new set, Carl of Mansion, is just.
Yeah, it's confusing. It's a pain. Once you get it rolling and you understand it, cool. But can you imagine trying to teach somebody that from scratch? You know, that's why they're trying to reattract old Magic players, because they already at least know the rules. If you got to teach them the rules and then the complexity of this, oh boy, that's why they're getting no new customers. And they knew it. So,
like today, I saw a guy who came to our local game store and he sold 11 Dockside Extortionists.
Oh.
11.
Oh.
It's like insane. Well, I have a scrub land. I have one dual land of expensive cards, like actually expensive. Then I have like a bunch of other weird things. I also looked at how D&D has morphed. That's also weird. Everything's changed now, and I don't even know what is going on. Like, okay, Hasbro, how did they manage to screw up everything, and why, and how? Give me the short story, because I no longer recognize Magic, and most people are moving to Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That's grindy. Well, we have our standard, which I'll talk about later. But what's happened to Magic? What's happening to Hasbro? And
well, I know every time they really screwed up, like what was that one deck that just ruined Standard? And then there was Kamigawa. Everybody hated it. I mean, even you stopped playing.
You mean Affinity?
Well, people hated that, obviously. Well, it was some kind of combo. I don't remember. I have only been playing since 2013. I know, only. I'm actually 2 years older than you. But believe it or not, I would have been into Magic earlier. Because, I was in high school from like, was it 01 to 05? And some people played, and they, we were in the gaming club, but I'm mostly focused on video games. I'm like, oh, card games, whatever. But I had played Pokemon, so I'm like, oh, what's this? They had zero interest in teaching anybody the game. They were like, no, we're busy, we're playing. No, I don't want to teach you this. Oh no. And they would just say that to everybody. They had their little group of 4 players, and that was it. I'm like, really? You don't want more people to play? So I asked them some questions. I tried to get into it. And I'm like, fine, if you ain't going to teach me, I'm going to get into it. If all the players are like this, then screw it. And they were the kids with the really bad attitudes, just not really people. So then fast forward, my friend gets me into it because I stopped into my shop and he's like, hey, you ever play this? I'm like, sure. I should get into some geeky stuff. I don't get out enough. But as far as WotC screwing up, that I joined during the explosion. It was just a coincidence. I think 2013 they like doubled their active users and customer base, which is insane. But then they knew the couple times over the about 10 years before that they could get away with just about anything and the game would come back eventually. It was a big financial blow and they are publicly traded, but they could come back from anything. So just imagine that. They've always had competitors. They've had L5R, they've had Force of Will, they've had all the different, Yu-Gi-Oh! And all that, but nobody ever really left for that and didn't come back. So now they've got it in the back of their minds that they can get away with anything. Now keep that in mind. So what happened is they were coming up on, well, everything's digital, everything's computers, everything's mobile. Look at all these big mobile games that exploded. And they kept thinking, well, is paper magic going to die? And then you got the people like Mark Rosewater that are saying, no, never. And the customer base says never, and it would be a really big black eye if the paper economy completely collapsed. Because they could go full digital. They had MTGO, but MTGO was just bad. And so now they're like, well, what can we do? So then you get Chris Cox coming on the scene right around COVID. Like right after that, it was COVID. And they're like, that's it. COVID will accelerate it. They knew they were going to get there eventually. They wanted to move full digital, or at least focus on digital and let paper die on its own. They're not going to like kill it early or do anything to kill it. But they recognize that that's where it's going to go eventually, in their opinion. Now, I don't agree with that at all. So they thought, oh, well, now nobody can even get together. We got to go digital. Double down on Arena, double down on everything. And they took some surveys, is the leaked information I got. What do people want? What do the MTG Arena players want? Because forget paper. We don't care what they want. They're all proxying anyway. They can't leave their houses. They don't buy anything. They're eternal players. Who cares? They don't really make that much money on the events or the standard constructed F&M either. So they're like, a lot easier for people to sit in their house and spend money from anywhere in the world without having to drive anywhere, They took a survey and they're like, they want shorter games. So they thought, what's shorter games? Well, we can't do lower complexity because nobody would buy the cards. Let's do higher power. And they thought, okay, we can ramp it. So he said around Eldraine was the time that they consciously decided to up the power. I would say BFZ or Eldritch Moon. I mean, I've been playing long enough to know that those were more powerful. So they're at least flirting with it, but the timeline ends up with now where it's just like, oh, you got a 10-10 for 5. That's just normal. I mean, look at the double striker. You flip it up and just win the game. So they want a bunch of swingy stuff where you win on turn 5 because people, they want to get in their deck. They want to get in their dailies, but they want to play a better game because gamers are always looking for a better game. So if you can get the magic stuff out of the way in less than an hour, if people can get 5 wins in an hour, they're happy. And so that's what they were targeting, even a half an hour. And a lot of people, they're growing up, they're having families, they got kids, they just don't have the time. So they can't have like a 30-minute game going on, and that would happen all the time in the early days of Arena. So even with higher complexity, they're getting higher interactions, and then the larger card pool was just to keep people. And then with the higher power, they get a shorter game. And that's what everybody wanted, was a shorter game. And they're like, well, dumb kids are all ADD and have no attention span these days. And then older people got stuff to do. And they don't have many retirees in the Magic world that have like, what are they going to do? Garden and go play bingo and then play Magic? They don't care. So they're like, we got to speed it up. And that's what they did. And then it ruined paper. You can't track what the hell's going on. But they thought after COVID, forget paper. Who cares? And that's why they're focusing on Commander. But I hate to tell them this. If you only buy 1 of every card instead of 4, and then you can keep it forever, that's a lot less money.
So bizarre to me because back in the day, Standard was like what you'd play. That was your default game.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, we play Standard by, interesting rules, which is why Standard actually lives here in Latvia. We have this thing, which is kind of a league format. Basically, you're like, if a new set comes out, you go to the pre-release and then you just get the pre-release stuff. And after that, you're only allowed to buy one booster pack per week.
Oh, and then you improve it, right? Oh, that is so cool.
And then you improve your deck. And you're not allowed to net deck. You're not allowed to buy cards. You're only allowed to trade cards for cards. No money involved at all.
Oh, okay. Because as I say, if you get a bad pool, you better start trading with somebody running the other colors or not running your colors.
I kind of switched out of this because I'm a stupid Johnny player. However, I do my own challenge where I only play very weird, bizarre combo decks.
All right.
I ran Millennium Calendar, for example, with Zoetic Glyph, which turns it into a creature, and then I attach the weapon, the equipment from Capenna that's supposed to touch on planeswalkers, but gives +1/+1 for each counter.
I like it.
So I attack for 100 damage. So I play stupid shit like that, but because I had a bunch of older cards, I respect their thing, and I will never go and play with an actual serious standard deck there because that would be dishonorable.
Oh yeah.
That's how we operate. I play my weird combo decks, and they all have their pool with their standard, which they build up. When we have someone from other countries coming over here in Latvia, those guys usually beat the crap out of us, but we don't care. So we play. Oh, you are also allowed to add, if you play drafts, you're also allowed to add your draft pool to your pool.
Oh, so they got the incentive to show up every week, and the incentive to buy more, and the incentive to get in the community and trade. That's some strong incentives.
That is how we play here at Riga. What I don't get is, like, Wizards is trying to kill this too, because right now Flesh and Blood is much more popular. Pokemon is getting super popular here, but people say should learn. I have no idea how to play Pokemon, and kind of want to learn at some point.
It's boring and simplistic from what I heard. Somebody described it, what the competitive scene looks like, and it's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Can I get my lucky pull before yours? And there's almost zero decision skill whatsoever.
Oh, with Yu-Gi-Oh, the problem is that you have to read the opposition's cards as well, because everything's so complex that you don't know if they're cheating or not.
Yep.
Now, one thing that I disagree with you with, by the way, you hate Izzet. That's my favorite guild.
I hate them so much.
Why? Why though? Okay, I understand hatred for Storm.
It's just spell spamming crap. It's just, oh, look, I cast a bunch of stuff and win all at once, and you have half a turn to respond.
I'm a silly Johnny player. I like dumb combos. I don't like super efficient ones, but I remember back on the original Ravnica, when Kamigawa was a thing, I used to play the deck that just infinitely copied Lava Spike because of Splice on Arcane.
Oh, jeez.
That's my favorite thing, because currently the thing I hate the most is anything that calls itself mid-range, like playing fucking shell dreads that cost 90 euros and just ugh.
I've been pigeonholed into only playing assassin decks. Even to this day, when I jump on Arena, once in a while, I've got to play the anti to what people are playing.
Oh yeah,
because they always have weaknesses. Now that's been shrinking with 3 years of sets legal instead of 2. Now it's just, people are just playing a flawless mix of everything, and there's nothing you can do. It's like, okay, great. Currently,
as I'm playing Arena while I'm talking to you, I'm running my Simic Cookies thing where you have Ginger Brutes and Worm Cauldrons. It pretty much, like, it gains enough life to counter all the mono reds running around. I just don't have the wild cards for the thing that you posted, sadly. I really would want to.
Oh yeah,
that turn 3 thing. That's just ridiculous.
I don't know. Is it? I thought Candy Cane had almost no rares in it, but at this point it might. I keep upgrading it.
That's your double striking everything thing.
Double strike boost, turn 3, they're dead. Never thought I'd see that in standard. If I did, I thought they'd ban it. Now this is just par for the course. And then there's so much control, so much early game adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they've changed the game to focus on instead of like, my deck has a weakness, but that's fine, I'll sideboard. And then that was another level of skill, is knowing what to sideboard, how many and when.
Yeah.
And then adjust your opening hand, the mulligan decisions accordingly. That was a high level of skill. It was arguably the hardest thing in competitive Magic, was knowing sideboarding mixed with mulliganing. And now that's just gone, because they said nobody plays anything but best of 1. And that comes down to the time thing. So when they saw people really, really, really want short games, they went all in on it and just ruined the game. And now Paper's paying too. People don't even want to draft this trash. That's a shame. But I mean, I would just draft all the time on Arena, but it's rigged.
I mean,
so why bother?
How exactly is it, like, rigged? on your show, okay, because my show is not going to be listened by people who mostly listen to you. Maybe we share some people here, but I don't get exactly how do you even rig that thing. I mean, I've gotten some very stupid opponents.
It's mathematically in a ranked draft. If you're losing, they'll put you up against softball opponents. So that's more like normal. But there's a double ranking system. Once you get to gold, they won't pair you under gold. And so they want nobody to get too many coins and nobody to free play. Or gems, I should say. So
well, I managed to hit Mythic when Khans of Tarkir came out because fuck yeah.
Oh, I've only done that once in limited. Oh my gosh, that's so hard to do.
Khans of Tarkir was the set where I returned for a bit, so I knew how to draft it. And at that point, I hit Mythic both on constructed and in limited, and I was like, nice.
I got to Mythic only because I just kept winning draft after draft after draft, and that was before they added even more riggage because there was some set out. And I literally played it for like 4 days straight. I did like 3 drafts a day and just killed it. And it was just draft white, black, and win. I don't remember what set it was, but if you drafted white, black, you would win 100% of the time. And so
I think it's one of the Phyrexia things, probably.
It wasn't too long ago. I don't remember what it was because they brought it back and I didn't even realize what it was because I hate to say, but I don't entirely care about Magic anymore as far as playing it. I mean,
makes sense. I don't blame you.
I can't even go to the pre-releases now because too many people would find out my real name because now you have to have it attached to your account and all this stuff. And
so someone actually checks it or in your place?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would go back in the day. I'd go to pre-releases with 110 people.
Okay, yeah, but like over here, that's one thing that we actually, thankfully, because we're a small nation, that's what we don't have. You can just type in your nickname in that application, and no one will care. You can play your foils, who cares?
I'm thinking about trying it, but if somebody saw my credit card making a purchase or something, I mean, there's a lot of people who don't like me because I call out cheaters, I make fun of all the pro wannabes, and I don't take crap from anyone. Plus, lefties can kiss my ass, so. You know,
this is one thing that I normally tell people who are huge fans of socialism and stuff. If all the hardcore left people would win for a bit, that would change everything for the better. Simply because those guys would get what they want, then they would like not enjoy it at all.
Well, I mean, Cuba. Like, let's try this. Maybe communism and socialism will work really well. Oh, nope.
Oh, wait, it doesn't.
And then they just leave. All the based people leave. I would overthrow it. I mean, I have the very unpopular opinion that if any country like Venezuela, it happened all at once, real quick. But so what? If you sit back and say, yeah, but I've got a job, I've got a family, I got stuff to do, that sounds hard. Overthrowing the government and stopping what's going on sounds hard. Somebody else will solve it for me. And then nobody does because they promise greed and free stuff and crooked bribes and everything. And then they just take over. And then what are you going to do? So now you're like, oh, I'm stuck. Oh, I better leave. No, you made the situation. It is your responsibility, just like in America, when England was taxing stuff and not giving us any representation and just treating us like a piggy bank, everybody got together and said no. And then when the Democrats wanted to keep owning slaves and we said, no, you can't own other human beings, that's wrong. We're going to draw the line in the sand. We're going to go shoot you over it. We're willing to go like leave our wife and family at home and go shoot you in the face over what we think is something that cannot go on. You know, you're risking our own lives personally on that level. And a lot of people died just to stop what they thought was wrong. And look at the result. Better country for 200 years or so. I mean, it is your responsibility as a citizen if your country's going the wrong way. The drug lords took over Mexico and everybody sat back. Oh, it's not my problem. They're scary. I'm going to stay away from them. Somebody else will solve it. The police will solve it. The government. Well, the government's all on the take and so are the police. So in any country where the bad people take over and then everybody's like, I want to leave. I want to come to America. I'm anti-immigration in that exact specific scenario because go fix your own damn problem that you created by sitting back and letting somebody else do it. Like this here is a country of people who get up and solve problems, you know?
This is what I would like to add to modern Russia, which is what I just don't understand. They've been living under Putin for like what? 20 years or so, and no one's doing anything.
Yeah, nobody shot him yet. What's up with that?
Because he has like multiple body doubles and just yeah. Another thing about D&D, they fired everyone. How? What happened there?
Oh, Hasbro just literally like couldn't make their payroll. I mean, it's not quite that simple because they're publicly owned and they can get debt and they sold off assets. But Christmas was so bad that they had to liquidate physical inventory and then they're spinning it as a good thing. Because they made so much money on digital and IP, like lend it to somebody for 30%. I don't remember the word. Oh yeah, licensing. That's what it's called. Oh my God. I got like no sleep last night.
What I really want them to happen is what happened with BattleTech, because I like BattleTech, and then it died. And then it was bought by the guys who make Shadowrun, and now it's totally fan owned. And like Wizards of the Coast are probably going to go the same way. Like Magic is a brand which is way too big, and I think it's just going to die and then going to be bought by someone who cares. Because Catalyst Games now own BattleTech, and they actually have good miniatures and support, and they run everything like a proper company.
Yeah, respect the fans and make good products. It's all you need.
Yeah, and guess what? They allow proxies at tournaments.
Oh my gosh, why? That is so stupid. That's where I would draw the line.
No. That's a tradition. That's a tradition of BattleTech. Guess what? That is why, because people used to play BattleTech with painted rocks and military bases.
Well, that's the problem with D&D. Anybody could sell a miniature and just say it's for tabletop gaming. As long as you don't use it, people can make alternate rules. People can make open source D&D rules, and then you can't even patent or copyright the game system in the first place. So the set of rules, their entire business model is fundamentally flawed, but they haven't really rocked the boat because they know the money's coming in. But lately, when they antagonize the community, they're like, well, screw you. And that's the push they needed to go to something open source or a different, better company. Oh, they're losing money left and right.
But right now, with the new set, I just don't know what even is going to happen with that. It was obviously meant to be Capenna instead of Ravnica. The art is horrible. I can tell where they have added AI.
Yep.
It's just super simple. The art's horrible. The whole mechanics is like, let's make it morph. Just better. Strictly better in every possible way. The standard is dominated by Sheldred and many other decks. I like Magic because it's a fun game to play. It used to be complex enough. You had to make decisions and it wasn't easy to play, but it's like, I'm really afraid that it's actually dying, and I feel really tons of discomfort about it. Do you think Magic has some sort of chance if Mark Rosewater quits, for example?
Yeah, well, if you think about the average 16-year-old right now, there's no way that the average 16-year-old in the world right now is going to jump on Magic because it's too slow. It's too much effort. They want everything now. You can just go into Google, get what you want. You go on your phone, you can have food show up in 10 minutes. They just want everything now, everything fast. And that's fine. They're adapting, and that's probably what the work is going to look like. When they're 30, that you better be able to adapt really quick and do 3 people's jobs at once. I mean, I'm just like that when I have caffeine, rarely. So, it's like fast. And of course, I'm a faster typer. I could look up stuff faster. I could read faster than the average 60-year-old, but I'm 36. So it's think of that times 10. So those people, they know, do not want to play Magic because it's too slow and they have to think and they want everything given to them. And that's why a lot of them are like, socialism, I could just sit back and draw pictures of anime characters and everybody just shares the wealth from the millionaires and nobody has to work or produce anything. Wrong. So they ain't going to play Magic because you have to think, you have to build the deck, you have to look at stuff, compare it. Even me, that's a little cognitive load for me now that you got to consider, 5,000-6,000 cards just to play standard or something?
For us, standard is simpler, but the commander decks, I have built one, and that was stupid because I put effort into this. I built a Phage deck.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's an interesting commander to build around, basically. First game I do is people are telling me, oh, we're playing casual. First turn Ragavan straight into my face. Someone built, and just, I don't get it. Because Commander to me is like people who have failed at actually competitive Magic and now they're just trying to show how better they are or something. I don't even know. It's just so weird.
Back in the day, at least around me, the only Commander people were complete and utter meme lords. Where my friend Lucas, he would build, or Logan, pardon me. Oh my God, it's been forever. Logan would build a Saproling deck because he thought it was funny because his binder had a bunch of cards that generated Saprolings. That was the end of it. And it didn't have to work. It didn't have to be competitive. And then he'd slam it up against mine, which just doesn't let people attack me. It is just impossible to attack me without losing your entire line, your deck, and probably your car keys. I'm taking everything. So it was just if you wanted to have fun with some really, really fringe weird stuff, you played Commander. But if you wanted to play higher powered level and higher complexity and faster games, than standard, you would play modern. Everybody knew that modern was like the I've been playing forever veteran elitist format, and then commander was just this little side thing. And then as soon as they started selling commander decks, people were like getting into it. And then they tried to power ramp, and then they tried to push multiplayer. And that was the other thing, is then if they're like, oh, if we want to get together and play with 4 to 6 people, now we're playing commander. And then they leaned into that so hard, and then they power ramped it. They're, dangling these cards in front of everybody's face saying, hey, your deck could be 5% more powerful if you run this. Hey, we got this new staple. We got this new mana rock. We got this new card. We got these new dual lands. Don't you want this? Your deck will be 1% better. And then everybody's power ramping each other because you're supposed to be having fun and generating wacky, crazy scenarios. But now everybody's like, yeah, but it would be more fun if we did that and I won, because then people would think I'm a better deck builder. And so they've been tricking people into playing not fun commander, it just drives me nuts. So they've ruined that too. And now that's the only thing people play. Commander is now like the only thing people play.
Yeah, I've noticed, and my store did a thing where in Saturdays they have serious commander, and then in Wednesdays they have low power commander, which is like actually supposed to be where it's like supposed to be. We just go and play Mahjong then now for fun and profit.
Oh my gosh.
Or Mahjong is fun. I learned how to play that nonsense at school and just doing that. D&D is also gonna, there are conflicts and everything. Just and with Cluedo, how Hasbro even, do they even have people at Hasbro thinking about anything in the future, like long term? Or
no, too many of them have been there for 10 to 20 years. They know their job is indestructible, and they're all on the verge of retiring because they're all in their late 50s. So they just don't care. And then they're looking at the direction the game is going, and they're like, back in my day, paper. I don't understand this digital stuff. So they'll just go with whatever, dumb 20-year-old they hire wants to tell them to do. They're just like, I don't care anymore. Playtesting just doesn't care anymore. And now a bunch of people are leaving, but it's like mid-level people. But it's because it's a really hostile work environment. It underpays. It's a total revolving door of people just going in and out. And it's because the older people make constant mistakes, and then there's no accountability. They don't believe in accountability. They're lefties. They want to do whatever they want. They want to get as fat as they want and say fat acceptance, body positivity, blah, blah, blah. They want to make as weird of life decisions as possible and be like, yeah, but freedom and all this, no personal responsibility. And so that extends to their job, obviously. I mean, it's Seattle. It's like the worst place in all of America besides Portland. So
I've been to Seattle once. I stayed there for 2 days, I think.
Oh, that's about 2 days too many.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, I saw the big monument, like the Black Hole Sun thing.
Oh, yeah.
Someone mistook me for a techie, and I was like, what's a techie? And then they explained it, and I was like, oh. What would you recommend me do? Should I take my expensive cards and just, when I'll be in the States, I'll be in Texas in April for 2 weeks, should I just sell my expensive card collection there or something?
I mean, what I'm telling people is, if you still want to play with them, keep them, and most of the people I associate with are not this type, so I've been known to foil out a deck because it's almost sarcastic, but my limit was like $50. So, I mean, when I had a mono blue deck that would absolutely just wreck people, I forgot what it was called. It wasn't Trampoline. It was the one right after it. And it was right before Mr. Nibbles, the most famous deck ever. But it would absolutely just trash people. And it was an $18 deck. So it was $33 to foil out. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not one to be like, no, people won't respect me unless I'm running the Japanese limited edition 15-year-old version of this card. And people roll up with, they're like, yeah, this is a Judge promo. This is a promo that was only given out at Comic-Con. And I'm like, okay, wow, you can bring out a credit card. Like, who cares?
Wait, what? That sounds so people do that in the States? Really?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, it's like rolling up in your fancy sneakers and your fancy clothes, except it's all the deck. People, the joke at my gaming store, before these people showed up, we would talk about them behind their backs. They'll show up in $1,000 Honda with a $3,000 deck, So it's like, we know you got kids, okay? Your teeth are all jacked up. We know where you work. You work at the pizza place. Why are you rolling up with a $3,000 deck and a $1,000 car?
Hello there, and thanks for listening to another episode of The Eastern Border. Dear Patreons, thank you more than ever for supporting our show. Your donations are crucial to keep us going, and right now all of your money is going to securing good information for you and to fund Kristof's actual real-life mission to Ukraine to report to you live about the war that is going on there. Also, we would like to use this opportunity to urge you to donate to other organizations that are helping people escape Ukraine safely and to defend the country for those who decide to stay on the ground. One such organization we would like to highlight is the Defending Ukraine Together Come Back Alive movement. Launched in 2014, the Come Back Alive became the biggest organization providing support to the armed forces of Ukraine. You can donate directly from their webpage, comebackalive.in.ua. Remember that no donation is too small. In this situation, every dollar matters, every cent matters. If you're uncomfortable with giving money to war, they do have a position on their website that they are providing Ukrainian army with laptops, lights, photo equipment, cables, and is not purely military. Perhaps that might change your mind, but remember you can also donate to strictly humanitarian organizations such as the Red Cross and others that are helping people escape Ukraine safely. Please also keep following us on social media for all of your latest updates on Eastern Border on places like Twitter and Facebook. Keep listening, keep yourself informed. That's all from me now. See you online.
I worked as a tech repair, phones and laptops and all the soldering stuff when I was in college. In Latvia, even if you don't pay for your college education, you still have to live. Okay. Also don't have a rich family. And the weirdest part is how I got my contacts with the legitimate businessmen, so to speak. Because in Latvia, apparently it's legal to have PlayStations in your prison cells.
Oh.
And they would come over and they would always, people totally unconnected to them, in air quotation marks, would come over and be like, hey, could you please solder in this Wi-Fi router thingy with, the mobile one where you put in the SIM card and gives internet in a way that the SSID wouldn't catch. And my boss would make me do this. And this wasn't technically illegal. It was just very stressful because cops came and checked everything often and I wasn't doing anything illegal. But that was my weird job. Then I finished college and then I moved to a super small town next to the Russian border in Ludza. It's 20 kilometers from Russia. And then I worked in the newspaper, and then I started my podcast, and then here we are. I've been to Ukraine 4 times. I have been poisoned, exploded, shot at, all the fun stuff.
I've been poisoned and shot at the same casino in the same month. But it was E. coli from the noodles, and then somebody shot up the place that was a disgruntled ex-employee.
That is one thing that I'm actually afraid of, because you guys in the States have weird things with your guns all over.
I don't trust nobody or nothing these days, man. I tell you.
Oh man, this is.
Yep. I think if Trump gets in, it's gonna get real fucking ugly, but he's not gonna, and it's gonna devolve into a big shitstorm because they're gonna try and take him off the ballot or fine him or whatever they can do. Nobody's doing nothing to stop it, and that absolute dumbass Vivek dropped out. So now the only backup is Nikki Haley. So now they smell blood because they want Nikki Haley to win. They don't have a Democrat, but she fucking is one. So then people are going to be like, well, I'm done with both political parties, split the vote, go multi-party, and then the liberals just win from then on. Just like Canada. You go multi-party and you go 30% wins, you get Trudeau.
I'm all for more than 2 parties because, come on, in Latvia we have 5?
Well, yeah, but then look what happened in Canada. Somebody who only 30% of the people's support wins.
Well,
but if it's all rigged anyway, well, that's why Trump is the third party. He's not a fucking Republican. That's why when he won, everything went to, it went bonkers.
Insane. Trump cares about Trump.
Oh yeah. He's all about ego. He just wanted to do it because he thought it'd be fun to be president. He didn't really have a plan. I don't think he even thought he would win. He just thought it would be funny to troll them and go up there and tell them to their face in a debate what they thought, and he had limitless money. And then, well, you know what happened? Hillary Clinton rigged it so that he won. So because she thought she could beat him. Oops.
Did you see Tucker Carlson and Putin interview?
I didn't because I hate Putin. I don't really like Tucker either. So I'm like, do I really want to spend 2 hours doing that? And fuck it.
We did live. We watched this. It was a stream.
Oh my gosh.
We ended up getting drunk. because I'll tell you how it looked like. It was Tucker Carlson was obviously paid to lick Putin's ass, but Putin made such nonsensical statements constantly that Tucker Carlson, he has some shred of intellect. He just couldn't find a single string to which even start licking Putin's ass with.
Well, he wanted to make it out of there alive. He just wanted the views. He wanted the news stories. Look what I did. Look at me. I'm such a great journalist.
Yeah, that's a stupid thing. I try to do actual journalism, and then I look at what's happening all over the place and what people write. It was just horrible. At one point, my best article was in Foreign Policy magazine, where I explained prison laws, like Soviet prison laws and their like понятия, and how that slang works to Americans. Because Institute for Study of War, big institute in Washington, D.C., they commented on the whole war thing. However, when Prigozhin was still alive, they completely ignored half of what he said because they just disregarded everything he said in slang, in prison slang, which is tons of meaning in Russia and all the culture. So they made bad decisions. So I wrote about all this stuff and like called them out. Now I hope they have hired someone who knows Russian, because they just ignored shit tons of stuff, which is why they made horrible predictions of everything.
Oh, that's funny. I knew they would take every angle they possibly could. And it's like, it's all just a circus. If somebody really actually called out Putin to his face, that video footage would never surface. It would have to be streamed live, and he wouldn't allow that. And they'd be in control of the routers anyway. So what are you going to do? Sneak a satellite in? I mean, they should have pulled a Hitler, showed up with a briefcase, and blown the whole room up. That's what I would have done.
I've suffered personally in all this nonsense. And over here, by the way, just so you understand, for us here in Eastern Europe, this thing is like an ongoing 9/11 experience for 2 years now. Because like everyone has relatives. And I've lost 10 people I know personally in this war.
Oh, jeez. Well, how's it affecting you guys? I thought they're going south. I mean, are they really reaching out, or what's going on? Accidental shelling or something?
No, it's like post-Soviet. We used to be the same country. I'm 34. I was born in the same country as Zelensky. It all used to be the Soviet Union.
Wait, now how far was that? Was that all like 14 Slavic countries or whatever?
16, all of them, yeah.
16?
Yeah, it was huge.
Okay, so they're all included, and that's why they all speak the same language now, right?
Well, no, we actually don't. That the language part is the thing that they try to do. Russia has a tendency to, well, how to explain this? They treated everyone who wasn't ethnically Russian as a second-rate citizen for the most part.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Like they try to minimize and eliminate all the national names and your national culture and everything you've got, which is why one of the reasons why we in the Baltics split up from that part. But we all speak Russian as our second language because we used to be the same country. What makes it insane is that 30% of Russians have relatives in Ukraine. 30%.
Oh, I see. Because y'all move around, and you guys got real loose borders there, right? Like, if we want to cross into Canada, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it used to be that way. Like, and in Soviet Union, you get sent, you finish university, and then the government, because you didn't pay for it, it was all state sponsored.
Yeah.
Then the government would send you on the other side, like in a random one of those 16 countries. You now have to go there, live there, and make a family there. Fuck you, just do it.
Yeah, there you go.
This is why it's kind of like so bizarre. But back to Magic, because I wanted to do this just so I could just diss at Wizards, because I also watched that 1 hour long presentation of 20 years of Mark Rosewater and all his lecture about MTG.
I don't usually watch a 1 to 2 hour thing of somebody I hate, but I watched the whole thing mostly because I made a meme edit of it. Oh my gosh! But wow, that was a big deep dive inside that guy's head, and not in a good way.
What he was saying was basic stuff that you learn in first, like if you do humanities, because I'm a historian by education. If you want to be a good journalist, then don't study journalism. Study history or philosophy or something that has logics and like critical reasoning, and it's like course thing. You'll be much better off. Just apply, just actually work hard, do things right for people.
Yeah, exactly. Well, see, now you know what job you're going to get. You're like one of the only people on the planet that can do it.
Well,
whatever a Russian-speaking AI takes over like an entire town, they're going to bring you in to try to like talk to it. Like, because you got the tech skills, but then you got the Russian language, but then you also got like the philosophy. And so you could try and convince it that it's wrong.
Dude, Russian AI. You made me remind, this is something that you don't know, but which is a meme in our channel. Russia made history with AI. Russia is the first country where AI got voting rights.
Oh, wonderful. There you go. That's
and I'll tell you how. They had their guy called Zhirinovsky. Zhirinovsky was the utterly mad dude from the so-called Liberal Democratic Party. That was the party that wanted to nuke Turkey, nuke United States, like totally like he was like the guy that always went and said crazier things than Putin, just so Putin would look sane in comparison.
The CIA and stuff and all these foreign people and NATO, they really get some ideas.
And then he died. And his craziest idea was that Russia needs to nuke some empty place in Arizona just to show it to the United States. And then they need to nuke a volcano in Iceland to like drop off the east coast from the planet. It was just weird. Then he died.
What? That's insane.
Then he was going on there. He was an elected member of Russian parliament. Then he died. Then they made a chatbot, like an AI, just be him. And then they gave him official voting rights in their parties, like in internal elections.
There you go.
But as that is an official, like an official party of the Russian kind of Gosduma, that means that this is the first AI bot with actually official rights in anything, anywhere.
Oh my God, that is so.
And that's fucking Zhirinovsky, and that's Zhirinovsky out of all people, the craziest guy ever.
See, that's why they should just solve all international problems by playing Magic the Gathering. I mean, then it's just smartest person win. Well, okay, what if Putin was going up against, I'd say Biden, but whoever's really running our government right now. What kind of deck do you think he would run? Like what Putin's personality, what kind of, I'm thinking mill deck.
Okay. Mill deck?
Or hyper control. 3-color Esper control, I could see it.
Look, when I was in my teens, I used to play one of those stupid mono blue decks, which was like draw, go. My deck consists of 24 lands, tons of counter spells, and nothing else. And one Mahamoti Jin, which used to be a playable card back in the day.
All right.
Like you just countered everything. But I liked Mill at one point before it went stupid. I liked Mill back in the day where you didn't have cards that attack you and just mill half of your deck instantly.
I think Putin would run Super Friends control. 3-color Super Friends, Planeswalker heavy, but then with a control.
Oh my God, I hate that so much.
Like just board wipe, but none of it affects Planeswalkers.
Planeswalkers used to be something special back in my day.
Yep.
I remember when Planeswalkers were the guys who were like, oh, you can't have Planeswalker because that, when Urza was the main character, when Planeswalkers were special and you didn't have them on the board, and now everyone's a Planeswalker.
Yeah, and you were supposed to be a Planeswalker. You, the player, are a Planeswalker. So that's why they were so powerful. It's like, oh my gosh, this is like another player. Holy crap.
And now I've seen so much Teferis and Eternal Wanderers and what was it, like Wandering Emperor and everything today. We had a Pioneer thing going on today, and I came with my Amalia because I just happened to have the Amalia combo thing there. I managed to get it early when it was super cheap. Yay.
Oh, nice.
I like Amalia because the core is the same, but you have like 15 cards that just vary around, so you can really specialize it. Most fun deck in Pioneer because it doesn't involve second only to maybe Traggless Sacrifice. Putin would run at this point in Standard one of those domain decks that summon a Traxa and that runs those Pyrexian dudes which make you sacrifice.
Oh, and probably the Portal too for free casting on top of it. I've played against that. That deck is cancer.
Right now, my next project involves Ariettes. Like I want to do something that blinks artifacts, like that blinks those Tithing Blades and Ariettes, those apple thingies. Because I want to build stupid combos. But Putin would run that. I think Biden has to run Jeskai because those are American colors.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like if I versed him, if they went, me obviously, because I'm like. If the president's cabinet included an MTG specialist, it would be me, obviously.
At this point, I have to mention that I will not charge my patrons for this episode, or they will kill me. This is so off topic from what I usually do.
Oh, you mean you're not switching to be a Magic the Gathering podcast?
No. I've done gaming stuff because. One thing that I need to talk to you about too, because this is me splurging my fanboy stuff on you as well. Because I have watched a lot of things from you because my job goes like this. Navalny dies and then I don't sleep for 36 hours and just work. Shit happens, right? And then I agree on everything you said about the gamers, the people in the local game store that you don't want to see.
Yeah.
100% true. Watched all of those. Deck building stuff, I also agree with you on that. I disagree with you on the Izzet Guild because I like Niv Mizzet as a character when they were like first appeared. I found them fun. I don't know what they've done to them, but it was fun originally.
Well, I like the whole sci-fi electricity. Let's embrace technology. I mean, come on, that's cool. I like the story. I like the idea of them. It's like I hate Rakdos just because they're awful. But I don't have a problem with Rakdos's mechanics.
Oh, yeah, one thing that I've noticed, we have a problem here in Eastern Europe with Western good guys. We hate paladins with terrible passion.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Look, you've played the Witcher games, right?
I've only played The Witcher 1.
Excellent. You still know what's going on. Geralt is the ultimate good guy for us. Geralt is the epitome of how an Eastern European good guy should look like.
Isn't he like canonically he's basically Eastern European?
Well, he's Polish because he was written by Polish.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Because Geralt are the kind of believable characters that we kind of like.
Well, because he gets out there, he does work, and he makes money, right? That's real. Capitalism, let's go.
we kind of when someone is trying to be like too good in those video games, like playing a complete goody two shoes, just so unbelievable for us because we're not used to that stuff. We're used to KGB looking over us.
It's so weird. Us in America, at least. Okay, let's go back to like the 1990s. Now everything's screwed up, but in the 1990s, everybody had the opinion of like, something's bad, take care of it. You know, somebody breaks in your house, shoot them. Somebody's ruining your school, bad teacher, get rid of them, run against them, bring it up at the board. Like we're like, we see something that's off or bad or evil or wrong, and we face it head on, take care of it personally.
You are like that. You kind of appreciate initiative.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at Captain America. Yeah, let's go.
Over here it's different. Over here we have this thing that. Because again of the 90s, because the only people who knew how capitalism works was the guys who smuggled stuff in from the Soviet era.
Oh.
So like capitalism is associated with something, you know, like not capitalism itself. We like capitalism. Ronald Reagan is a super popular president here because he hated the Soviets, so he must be good. That was the idea.
He's awful. He was the start of ruining our entire country. People don't realize that.
Yeah, but that was the idea of why, for example, we like him here. But like only people like who knew how to run companies were criminals. So obviously that got associated. We just didn't know how to do it.
Oh, I see. That makes sense though, because that's how Russia runs right now. If you got money, it's because you cheated to get there. You know?
Yeah, and it's like one of those weird cultural difference things, which truly is just weird.
I'll tell you what, lasts like 6 or 7 years though. Oh yeah. Oh, the sentiment has flipped from people who are old enough to be paying attention. So like I said, I don't care about what dumb teenagers think. They're all idiots. You know, right now it's like, okay, look at this giant company like Amazon. How did they do it? Unfair competition, bought up everybody, bought their competition, got a monopoly, bought up congressmen. So it's like any successful company right now, we just assume they got there by bad means and that they're inherently bad. So we got the anti-corporatists, but then that ended because now the corporatists embraced the left. Because you remember the after the Wall Street crash, the whole housing crisis in 2008 in America, everybody was like, screw the big government. And then it really quickly, those same liberal hipster morons, they got flipped and brainwashed by all their idiot university teachers to think, oh no, actually corporations are good. I don't know how they got there, probably because their brains don't work, because they're smoking too much pot and singing too many hipster songs. They're not intelligent people to begin with too. That's why they're the pseudo-intellectuals. But now it went from, screw all big companies, too big to fail, all these finance people, all these Wall Street people, they've been crooked since 1910. Absolutely true. And then it flipped. It just flipped to like, no, I do what corporations say. Look at all these corporations embracing DEI and they're hiring and they have the power, the money, and the influence to change culture. But see, they think it's going in a positive direction. It is not.
I think I'm a slightly more liberal than you are. I consider myself like a very central person, but then again, it's different here. I was born in the Soviet Union, so it's a bit weird. I am not the kind of liberal that you would say a liberal. It's just
Well, are you like OG liberal or like libertarian or like moral conservative and like financial middleist? Because that's me.
I would say that. I've read Adam Smith. I like that stuff.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think we really shouldn't base anything on ideology. We should just look at solutions. And also, I am pro welfare because I just you can choose welfare or prisons, and prisons, at least over here in my part, just make more criminals. So welfare in general is actually cheaper than prisons.
Exactly. I mean, the way America was founded back in like 1700s was, and this goes back to like how England was run, but Europe was the same way. It's because like morally, no matter what version of the religion you left your country with and came to America with, you pretty much were like, if somebody's down, if something bad happens to them, they injure their leg, you watch out for them. You bring them stuff, you help them out, and then they'll watch your back. And that's how it was. And now it's like every man for himself. So now I'm thinking, well, realistically, what do they call that? The social safety net. If you're unemployed, give them free money. That's like, I'm against that, except I'm not. Like, I'm for it if it works, but I'm against it because it doesn't. Because now we just got welfare queens, out there gaming the system.
Gaming the system is like bad, but you have to have like, if you don't have any social security network, then people just won't take risks.
Yeah, that's just crime. They just either drop dead or do drugs or commit suicide or steal what they need. So it's like, well, you got to do something.
And also, you just get more enterprises if you have a social security network.
Yep, exactly.
Simple as that, because then people are more willing to try to do something.
Well, if I could have gotten a 4-year degree, I'd be rich right now. But there aren't enough government programs for people who aren't the children of rich people or just not disabled or not what they consider to be disadvantaged even back then.
I'll tell you my magical secret, which I tell everyone here. Due to the fact that Latvia is losing population because we're not one of the richest countries, we're next to Russia, and people just don't like to have kids, and depression era situation where there's war next door and people just want to move elsewhere a lot.
That makes sense. Where are they going though?
Everywhere. EU.
It's just like if you're from Europe, you're from like Germany, you speak English. If you're from Mexico, you speak English. If you want to make money, you speak English. Even Sweden, everybody speaks English. But Chinese and Russian are the two where like, where are you moving? You know what I mean? Like, you better find your own community. That's why all the Chinese people come live in Chinatown.
We all speak English here in these parts.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because nothing. If you're a nerd, you have no choice. Nothing gets translated. We all know subs, and I learned English by reading Lord of the Rings books.
Wait, which language magic cards do you guys run?
English.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, obviously.
I thought the distributors over there were all Russian, but did they cut off the Russian distribution in the language?
No. We still have them. We still have them, except that there's this problem where any fantasy terms translated into Latvian or Russian sounds so cringe and just silly and just god awful.
Oh, that would be funny. That would be awesome.
The worst thing ever. Fun story. In Latvia, our official Craigslist is ss.com. It's an abbreviation from sludinājumu serveris or advertisement server.
Somebody didn't think that closely.
No. They it's just called ss.com because the guys never thought about it. And they were like, oh shit, it's ss.com here and like run by local Russians as well. I'm just going to check how much a house in Latvian countryside where I used to live costs next to a lake. Oh, looky here. It's a wooden house in Rundani. It's 4,000 square meters of land, 2-story wooden house. The price, however, is 10,000 euros.
For what? You get the whole house?
10,000 euros.
We couldn't get a picture of a house for 10,000 euros here in America.
Yeah, it needs fixing up. I'll send you the link so that you know I'm not lying.
Like a tiny, tiny, tiny house. Like my house right now is worth about 120,000.
You would have to fix this one up, but here's the link.
We couldn't buy the land for that. What the hell? Jeez.
Yeah, the thing is, my life goal currently is to just save up money, get a house in Latvian countryside. If you really want to move somewhere quiet, here you go. If you can work online, Latvian countryside.
Not a bad idea. Well, you know where I live, right? I live in Wisconsin, which is like, infrastructure, good place to live, low crime, Midwest, but rural,
Booze, though. Tons of booze.
Oh, yeah, I don't drink, but my God, it's out of control here. It's my German people and Irish. I'm German, Irish, and Dutch, so I mean, there you go.
The only thing I know about Wisconsin is that I watch Red Letter Media, and they're from there.
Wait, Red Letter Media?
Yeah.
I don't even know that. I know those guys, but I didn't even know they were from here. That's cool. All the cool people are from Wisconsin, just saying. Like, if you look at, like, the top 100 cities to live at least 20 years ago, like, most of them were in Wisconsin. We had the best schools, best everything. As far as public. And then best infrastructure, best bridges, best hunting and fishing, best real estate. Like, we had the best everything, And now everything's going to crap, but, yeah.
Ludza is more like West Virginia. No, then again, Latvia is a population of West Virginia about the same size, too.
Wait, what's the population of Latvia? Latvia?
About 2 million.
Oh, okay. I thought it was gonna be like super small, like Luxembourg small, but I don't know. It looked bigger on the map.
We're okay. We're okay. Luxembourg does not exist, by the way, which is an internal joke on this Discord because we have an American guy with Luxembourgian citizenship. One thing that I truly believe is that there is a saying that in Europe, 100 miles is a long way. In America, 100 years is a long time. I believe that fully.
We got a saying that, like, in Europe, if you drive somewhere for lunch, you're probably in another country, like just on lunch break at work. And then in America, if you drive somewhere for half a day, you're probably in another state. And then in Canada, if you drive somewhere for half a day, you're probably still in Canada, and you probably could still wave at your family.
Well, one thing though is like, really, should I pick up Pokemon?
As far as selling your collection, I would replace any premium cards with the lowest level card to still play. I mean, I sold off a couple of my decks where I'm like, I'm just not going to play this deck anymore. But if you're like, no, I want to get my money out because I want to get my money out, but I want to keep playing, and you're kind of caught between it, I would say take any card above a certain amount and just buy the cheapest version of it, sell the foil, the premium, the old print, and get the money out of it.
Yeah, but like I have a single dual land, the OG one, and I don't know.
Oh, I would sell that.
Yeah, I heard that in the States, the singles are like about 20% more expensive than in Europe.
I would have thought backwards, but I've never dealt with it.
Apparently, because we have a really good like competitive shop thing. But yeah, I don't know. I'm actually going to send you pictures of some stuff because I don't know anything about selling Magic cards, and my local store will only give me store credit, which I kind of don't want. Might as well send pics and send them to you in case of whatever.
I would bring whatever you got spare and sell it. I mean, it's just too much money for you to be like 3 years from now, oh crap, it's worth $1.
So that's the thing here. Like healthcare is cheaper. My apartment costs me 450 euros plus bills.
Oh man, that's cheap
per month. I rent. I have given up on owning anything. For some reason, our clothing is more expensive than in the States, and our food is about the same price as like in New York prices.
Really? Wait a minute. If you went to go buy like a loaf of kind of premium bread or like 8 brioche buns for burgers, how much would that be?
Currently about €5.
Okay, I was gonna say in my area it's about 5 or 6. Yeah, it would be in euros. It'd be about what it is.
It's about that. Our gasoline is way more expensive.
Oh yeah, that's everywhere. We just outbid everybody and rig everything. Sorry about that.
no, but the thing is, like, this is just the weirdest part because smaller market and all that nonsense. I don't even know how people like play Magic here because I just got my old collection. Biggest, by the way, regret when I quit Magic, I had Gaia's Cradle and I just gave it to someone.
Oh, ouch.
It cost nothing at the time.
My reflecting pools got stolen. Somebody stole my decks out of my shop. I think I know who did it, but I don't even have a time frame because I would never play Modern, but they stole like 3 of my Modern decks.
You have a Magic shop, or you had one?
I had one, yeah. Well, so we did something, and then I was able to pass it off enough with the one distributor who really didn't care as like partially a Magic and gaming shop, even though it absolutely was not, and the name of it, no. But they let it slide because they knew the volume I'd be doing, so I'd buy up like 10 grand every time. That's more than any shop in my entire state. So they knew I was flipping it online, but that I was flipping it as singles, which WotC didn't have a problem with. So as long as we were opening it, they didn't care because then you can't trace it. We're not selling sealed. We're not competing with local stores. We're just selling singles. And so as long as we were cool with that, he let it slide. So I made like 1/4 of my shop square footage to be Magic, and that was good enough for them. I took a picture. They're like, okay, fine. And I just literally like borrowed all my friends' expensive cards, put them in top loaders, put them in a glass case, took out all my inventory and said, no, see, we already sell Magic stuff. He's like, okay, good enough for me. Yeah. And there was no money in it. I think I broke even over like 7 years and like $250,000. I think I broke even.
Our local guy, I think he makes more on Flesh and Blood and Pokemon and
oh, definitely better margins and all that. Yeah, Magic is the one that none of the stores want to carry, and then they just double down. They're like, well, fine, and they went on Amazon and sold it.
But it used to be different. It used to be different, really.
Oh yeah. It used to be you get what you get. I mean, the old school method, and we're talking this is like 2014 even. The stores would be like, you get what you get. Everybody makes 30-40%, and everybody's happy. Now it's like, I don't want to give the name, but one guy went on eBay and just started liquidating like 30,000 boxes from this tiny little 1,000 square foot store. It was all a lie. It was all a farce, but nobody cared. And then finally WotC started to crack down on it, but it was already dead. It ruined it. And people started saying we locally we can't make any money because this jackass is out there on eBay selling for $92. We want 140 a box. How are we going to compete with 92? You know, there was no place to buy it because you had to sign a thing that said, I am not going to sell this online, and if I do, I have to comply with this, and this. And then they would limit your volume, which is why I was an anomaly, but I wasn't selling them sealed. I was selling them as singles. So I don't know, it was very gray area. But then when they cracked down on it, my distributor shut down. They got kicked out. WotC cut them off. They sued WotC. It was all a mess. They didn't really have any basis for it. They didn't settle. Now they sell smaller stuff. So hopefully they picked up Flesh and Blood. But now that's why I'm actively rooting for Paper Magic to just like die.
However, you should advertise maybe to the people who have listened to this rambling for all this stuff. Advertise your YouTube channel, both magic and non-magic, please.
Oh, sure. So it's Desolator Magic. That's Desolator. Of course, reference to Red Alert 2.
Red Alert 2, best Red Alert. Yuri is best.
No, apparently Iraq is best because that's where the Desolator unit was. That didn't age well.
Yuri is best.
No, he's basically the lefty media if it was a person.
You just do not appreciate the might that is Yuri. I'm sorry, man. Like,
well, the fact that he ended up holding up on like an island was the most villain thing ever. That's when people knew how to write. That game was so good.
From that game, memes from there are like staples all over like our region. That was the one thing they did right. You know, normally we're cringing about all the stuff that anyone in the West makes, especially when they make these fake Russian letters. When they do the reverse R thing, the problem is how my brain works. When I read Russian, my brain switches to Russian. When I read English, my brain switches to English. And when I read those reversed letters, my brain's like, I want to read Russian, so I just don't understand the thing. Oh, wait, it's supposed to be that. I hate it so much when they do that.
You know, I think the whole Russian language is fake. It doesn't really exist. They're just pranking us. Same with German. That can't be a real thing.
And you have your survival channel, which I recommend.
Yeah, everybody should just disregard my dying channel and go to my new one.
My fiance loves your survivalist channel, by the way.
Really? Let me check. So my magic channel is 98.5% male. I would have thought survival, get out there, be manly, camping. Yeah. It's not all men.
You know why? Because for one, we're Eastern European. Everyone knows how to pickle everything here.
Yeah, nobody knows anything. Everybody in America was like, it's like Germans, you know?
We had to do this because like you didn't have enough food, so you started your own garden. You couldn't get anything fixed or like everything was deficit, so you had to like fix everything yourself all the time.
Yeah, see, everybody's fallen away from that. That's how all of America used to be, let alone Wisconsin. It was farming. You fix it yourself. You do it yourself. You build your own well. You know. But so that's my age and gender chart that I just posted for my prepper channel or survival channel. It's not really prepping. It's not like, ooh, the government's gonna get you. It's like we already know that. Here's how to like filter water, you know. But it's all really electronics heavy, and you don't see that. A lot of preppers are anti-technology. They're dumb boomers. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They know guns. They know how to gut a squirrel. That's it. They don't know nothing about, solar electricity and all that.
I only have an air rifle. Okay. Also, fiance loves shooting. So that also.
Ooh. Proof that all the good girls are taken.
Look, you wouldn't even believe. She's 4chan's perfect girlfriend. I'll just say that.
Now, if you look at the survival and preparedness, it's like 20%, 35 to 44, 20%, 45 and up. It goes all the way up to like 10%, 65 plus, because those people know what's up, dude. I mean, they've lived long enough to know that sometimes it rains, sometimes it goes bad, sometimes the economy fails, sometimes there's a tornado,
Over here in Eastern Europe, like in most of its fear, we completely lack the idea of entrepreneurship. We have no mom and pop shops. That's seen something bad. We lack that. We are way introvert. You know what? This is what KGB does to you, because we used to be the other way around. But think about this. Every business, every place you've ever been to has a someone who reports to the party, and you can get sent to Siberia at any moment. You learn not to trust anyone at all times. So over here, we don't do entrepreneurship. Showing initiative is bad.
Oh, because that's not very socialist, right? You just wait for somebody to tell you what to do and hope that they know what you're doing.
Exactly. However, one thing that we have over you is like we have this what you would call prepper shit. We got it done.
Heck yeah.
We're all about that.
Probably, I bet the average person knows how to like gut a squirrel and turn it into a tasty squirrel chunks.
Definitely, yes. Even I know that.
I can't even meet somebody who knows how to prepare their own deer in Wisconsin. We're like the deer hunting central, so that's.
I know how to prepare deer. Sadly, I don't have a gun, but I had a Makarov pistol, but I had to sell it because just getting the license was massive pain.
Oh, that sucks.
There's only 2 million of us. So to get a gun license, you have to learn first aid. You have to learn all the law aspects. You have to prove that you're also able to maintain it. Like you have to go to the gun range and you have to be able to do a lot of preparation stuff. I am okay with our Latvian gun control.
It's funny in Wisconsin, you just go to one class and there's no test. And that's it. And then you get a concealed carry permit. Otherwise, to just buy a gun, you just have to be, pass a background check, which is pretty strict, and then be the right age. And that's it. Now, let's go one state south to Illinois. You need to go to the range multiple times, prove accuracy tests, which is like more than the police even have to do.
Wait, accuracy tests? What?
Yeah, you have to prove that you can shoot 25 yards meters with, I think both hands with your gun.
We don't have those. You just have to prove that you know how to handle it.
Oh yeah, you got to prove accuracy. It has to be a certified instructor. All the liberal cities just want to take the guns away because they think less guns equals less crime. Okay, so the one thing that no lefty here wants to hear when they say take away the guns, make the guns harder to get. I always say, wait, I got a better idea. Okay, what if instead of making the guns illegal, we just make it illegal to murder people with the guns? Boom, problem solved, because then I can keep my gun.
This is gonna be super fun because my previous episode was an interview with a Latvian journalist who grew up in Chicago, who hates Trump and everything.
Oh, of course, total brainwashed loon.
He just hates Trump a lot, and he spoke about all this stuff.
Oh, everybody hates Trump. Even the conservatives hate Trump. He's just the one guy. He's there. It's like, okay, whatever, we'll take him, I guess.
I lost a bunch of patrons because I said it's kind of a shame that your country can only pick between Trump and Biden.
RFK, did you hear what his decision was? He's running independent. He doesn't think he's going to win. And I keep seeing interviews with the one guy that's the actual libertarian front runner. But I think now RFK is either running full independent or he's trying to take over libertarian, which would never happen because he's too establishment. I mean, his last name is Kennedy. But he is probably going to absolutely split the vote hard. Anybody stupid enough to come out and vote for Biden is going to be like, yeah, but RFK though, and he might win. If he can drag 3 to 5%, that's it. It's over. But Trump would have to actually be on the ballot. So the fact that Vivek dropped out really pisses me off. Now, DeSantis, he can go piss off back to Florida. Everything he does is a fake publicity stunt. It is ridiculous and insulting. Everything from his fake shoes to his fake lines and his fake speeches, it's all BS. Vivek was like the most based OG. I'm going to come in and do it. I'm smart enough. I'm young enough. I got the energy. I know what's going on. And I pay attention to politics. He's like the opposite of Trump. He should have kept in the running to compete with Nikki Haley. So now if something happens to Trump, all we got is Nikki. And then we got 2 Democrats to vote for, which is bullshit. So I am absolutely livid that he dropped out. He should have been like, wow, we got 1% of the vote in Iowa. Oh, well, let's keep it running. He has money for days. I think it was all a mental thing because he started canceling interviews. He didn't talk to the media for days. I think he thought he would beat DeSantis. I think he got like 8%. DeSantis got like 16 or something. It was like 2-1, and that should never have happened. So now that it's just Trump and Haley, that is bad. That is so bad. What's he going to do? Re-enter the race? He literally cannot win the nomination because he dropped out before too many states. So it is becoming a mess. So even the people that are like the outsider saviors, like not politicians who can come in and be like, I'm a true conservative and I'm going to absolutely drop a nuke on all these corrupt people. They're not even like aware enough to realize what's happening. I think he let it get to him. It's just like when Huckabee dropped out. He never should have. He should have kept pushing. He was too nice. I mean, what was that, McCain or something, 2008? I don't even know. Like that guy dropped out way too early.
We love McCain here. McCain is like the number one hero of Eastern Europe.
What, a warmongering establishment Republican? Come on.
No, you know what? Because he knew where Eastern Europe was on the map. Ukraine is for him, and he spoke truths about Putin years before the war happened. That's the thing.
Well, that too, but still, military guys. What's the saying? We have the saying here in America. You might have the same. If all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Well, yeah, but we genuinely like McCain here in these parts. That's
yeah, but McCain would have been like, oh, North Korea's acting up. What do we do? Talk to them, influence them, talk to China, put pressure on, blow them up. He would want to blow them up because he's a military guy. And when you see an enemy, you blow them up. And then he had the backing of arms dealers, obviously. So he wasn't great. I voted for him, but he wasn't great.
Well, that's the thing. Pretty much nobody's great in politics.
Well, Bush was among the worst presidents, and so was Reagan. So it's like it goes back. Well, people are trying to determine when did like the deep state, the CIA, the rich people, the companies, when did they take over? And it was somewhere between Reagan and JFK. I'm like, that's like before I was born. Holy crap. Like, so it's been going really off a cliff. And now it's just all companies, all media, all Silicon Valley, all international. It's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. I don't see it getting better unless Trump gets in. And he's too stupid to even know who the enemies are. He's too old. He doesn't pay attention. He doesn't know who to hire. His advisors are all crap. It's no matter who wins now at this point, the only person who would have fixed things is Vivek. And I'm pissed that he dropped out. He should have won. If he was in second place, he'd still be running. So I could put up with 4 more years of Trump, but he damn well better pick Vivek as his running mate. And Vivek insulted him basically to his face, so that'll never happen. It's over. The next 8 years are going to be shit, dude. So you should subscribe to my prepper channel, Emergency Survival Tips. Emergency Survival Tips on YouTube and Rumble, everybody. Go subscribe because you'll learn how to survive what the hell is happening in the next 10 years. Ain't going to be pretty.
I'm telling you that this decade is going to be awful anyways, in general, because...
Oh, terrible. Absolutely terrible. There is nothing that can fix this at all at this point.
The dumbest part is that if Ukraine could have just easily won because Russian army's incompetence is insane. Corruption there is huge. But again, it's like, oh no, we cannot escalate. We cannot threaten. What about Putin's feelings? And then, F-16s were late. Then tanks were late. Everything was late. And then it's like, oh, why is Ukraine not succeeding immediately? Well, because you were late with everything. If all the stuff was delivered on time, Ukraine would have just won. And just all the stupid ideas about, I hate the most that people call them like Nazis or something.
Yeah, it's all about image and people who don't know what's going on. They're lazy and then they just revert to all I care about is money. Well, the most motivated people, like it's just like how they say most CEOs are psychopaths. It's because the most motivated people are going to be the ones who are obsessed and addicted to money and power. So they're the ones who are eventually going to get in because for every 100 of those, there's like one person who just wants to succeed because they want to succeed. But they're not willing to like lie and cheat and steal and throw people under the bus, so they don't get as far, So that's why the people on the top in every country are always the most corrupt, and it's always going to get worse. Because now they're all getting together, and now they got a central little cult to believe in with that DEI lefty crap.
I have a plan, though. See, apparently in Europarliament, to get in there, it doesn't matter in which country you vote. For example, if I run in Latvia, then I have like this small pool of candidates in Latvia. However, if you are a German citizen, and you just say, happen to arrive and be in Latvia on the day of the election, then you can still vote for me, even though you're a German citizen.
What the hell? That's a terrible idea. You should fix that.
Because you are a EU citizen first, and then like other stuff. The participation rates in Latvia are so low that in last election, they took about 2,000 votes to get in Europarliament. So I think...
What? I'll run. Wait, I'm not an EU citizen, but still.
Yeah, but I am. So if I can pull this off somehow, if I can just... I can maybe just create a massive party for all the podcast listeners in the EU Parliament election day. If I organize running, I bet I can get enough Europeans to come over to Latvia to vote for me here.
I tell you, if you wanted to be like a glorified accountant for like my county where I live in Wisconsin, you just get a couple extended family members to vote for you. It's like plus or minus 10 people.
Plus or minus what then, people?
It's like some of these like who cares local elections. If it's not, so we'll hold a local election, and if it's not combined with a bigger election, nobody will show up because nobody knows who any of these people are, and people are too lazy to look it up. And then everybody always has like the Democrat plants. They always have like our school board people. They have the Democrat strategists write their website for them. And it's anything that they consider non-political, then you are not putting what party you're in. So you got to kind of try to figure out, and they're like, I like children and education and fair money. It's like, okay, cool. So does everybody. It's like you read the 8 candidates running for school board or running for like comptroller or one of those, like some stupid thing that gets 500 votes, in your city or your county, or sheriff even. That's usually an elected position, believe it or not. Everybody's the same. Everybody's the perfect candidate. And then they get in, you find out they're a corrupt lefty piece of crap who are trying to brainwash your kids. Well, they didn't put that on their campaign website, so people are just like, well, how am I going to figure out? How am I going to know if this person's good or bad? So they just stay home. They don't vote. Oh, it drives me nuts. And then if they do vote, they vote straight tickets. So then if it's a non-political one, their vote isn't counted for that one because it's not a political thing. The school board isn't Republican or Democrat, but it very clearly is. They don't put it on their website and they don't put it on the ballot. So you have no idea who you're voting for. So if somebody wanted to just attack one thing, they wanted to say, I'm going to sneak it out of nowhere. Last second, I'm going to fill out the paperwork, and I'm going to get 400 people from the local gun club and my extended family to vote for me, I'm in. Because you'll just crush the other person. So people have been doing that, and I'm like, I already have a job, and I don't know anything about being a comptroller, which I think they just write checks out and balance the books. It's a glorified accounting position. I don't even know what they do, but I could win it if I wanted to. So you should too. You got to run, man. I would be like your number one campaign supporter, which is probably illegal because I'm from America. That's foreign election interference. Oh no.
No, I think you'd be fine. We've had work.
Well, you got to come on my channel. We got to talk about magic in Latvia because that is the most fascinating thing I've ever heard in my life.
About our standard format.
Yeah, and how people actually play and your philosophy and what people do and why they show up and how it's English versus Russian and oh my gosh, I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, sure, why not? We can absolutely do that. But yeah, let's wrap this up because it's like 10:20 p.m. here. To all of you who maybe disliked this conversation, I had to do this because otherwise my brain would melt. And thanks, everyone. And as I always say, happiness is mandatory. До свидания, товарищ.
Everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Eastern Border Show. If you have any questions or comments, go to our website, theeasternborder.lv, and leave a comment there. Or email us at theeasternborder@gmail.com. We'll be sure to answer. You can also follow us on social media and contact us there. If you enjoyed this episode, then leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and tell your friends about us. It really helps us grow the show. And remember, happiness is mandatory.